Hi everyone, it's me. And today, let's try some breakfast cereal together. Let's go.
Alright mascots, listen up. Your Halloween-themed monster cereals are all basically the same. We don't need all 5 of you, so we're gonna have to cull the herd a little bit. One at a time, step forward and deliver your catchphrase. Count Chocula, you're first.
I want to eat your cereal.
Alright, not very clever, but I get it. You can stay. Next up is Frankenberry. You know what? Actually, your cereal sells pretty well. You're safe. You too, Booberry. Good job on those sales. Let's hear from, you, Fruity Mummy.
Fruity yummy mummy makes your tummy go yummy.
Is that real? Is that really your catchphrase?
Yeah, I say it in commercials and everything.
Take him away.
What? Come on, no!
Fruit Brute. Let's hear it from you. Alright, gonna stop you right there. So that's it? You just howl the word fruit?
I'll see myself out.
Yeah, you do that. Honestly, didn't even know you were a thing until today.
Okay, that's awkward. Theory.
Happy Halloween, Internet! Welcome to Food Theory.
Alright, so let me try this. Happy holidays. Alright, hello Internet! Welcome to Food Theory! Hi. What am I doing, man? Seriously, what am I doing?
Joe, that's part of a balanced argument. Loyal theorists, I'm not exactly what you'd call a sugary cereal kind of guy.
Sorry.
Aside from Apple Jacks, which I'm gonna tell you all about in an upcoming episode, we just don't keep cereals like that around the house, except for the seasonal exceptions. You see, every holiday when cereals roll out their special limited edition flavors, I love testing them out. I'm curious what new sugary concoction they've come up with this time. Christmas Crunch, sign me up. S'mores summer cereal, absolutely. Lucky Charms for St. Patrick's Day, it's just Lucky Charms. And on Halloween, you know we invite Count Chocula into the house. As every sugar-loving kid knows, General Mills' seasonal monster cereals get trotted out onto store shelves every year around Halloween. Count Chocula is probably my personal favorite. He's the mascot of the chocolate-flavored monster cereal that's been a fan favorite since its commercials first hit airwaves back in 1971.
Don't be scared. I'm the super sweet monster with the super sweet new cereal, Count Chocula.
Despite having 50 years of television commercials under his cape, Count Chocula's backstory isn't all fleshed out. As his oh-so-punny name suggests, he's basically a kid-friendly version of Bela Lugosi's iconic Dracula character. Down
Yeah, vampire, you
to
know.
the accent, the wardrobe, and the fangs. Well, they're not exactly fangs, are they? Let's just go with his 2 beaver-like front teeth. Count Chocula in the commercials is very proud of his chocolate cereal, and he'll go toe-to-toe with anyone who claims that their cereal is superior, especially Frankenberry, his frenemy/roommate in the Monster Mansion. Well, they don't see eye to eye when it comes to chocolate versus strawberry. Both monsters can agree on one thing: children and cute animals are downright terrifying.
Count Chocula. Frankenberry.
Hi.
Frankenberry. Count Chocula.
Meow.
Kids love Count Chocula.
Kids love Frankenberry, and I love their commercials.
So it all seems pretty straightforward, right? Count Chocula is a not-so-scary version of Dracula who sells delicious, sugary cereal to kids. He has no real backstory to speak of, so he's totally uncontroversial. Well, this is the part of the episode where your childhood gets ruined, folks, because we here at Food Theory did some digging. Turns out that Count Chocula does have himself a backstory, and it's been kept secret for obvious reasons. Count Chocula is the product of excessive inbreeding. Yup, and we can prove it. So hold on to your Frankenberries, because this monstrous food theory has got itself some teeth.
Wait a minute first, you do recognize that this is a fictional character, right? It's fictional, bro. That you're thinking too much about
First
it.
off, let me just say, I get it. This is a weird, bold claim to be making about a beloved children's cereal mascot. But it's not like I woke up this morning looking for a way to take down Count Chocula, okay? I woke up like a month and a half ago looking for a way to take down Count Chocula. I'm a guy who follows wherever the facts lead me, right? And
Alright, but case in point, you must remember that this video came out in the year 2020 and ran out in the year 2022. So 2 years have passed. Yeah, 2 years have passed.
Count Chocula's case, the trail began with his chin. See, over the past 50 years, we've seen Count Chocula drawn in a variety of different animation styles, as you'd expect from any character who's been around that long. But his chin has been a constant throughout every iteration. There's no version of it that isn't long and protruding. Now, this is known as prognathism, the extension or bulging out of the lower jaw. Colloquially, it's referred to as Habsburg jaw because it's most famously present throughout the Habsburg dynasty. And by the way, I'm going to be spelling Habsburg with a B in today's episode, despite the Habsburg with a P spelling that we're used to in the US. Yeah, it does sound like a P to your ear, but actually modern day descendants of that royal line spell it with a B. And you know what? If they're the descendants of that line, I'm going to trust the way that they spell their own names, so it's good enough for food theory.
And you must remember that I don't really understand it. I don't even know the existence of it. So thank you so much, MacPat, for educating about me. But first time recognizing their existence. I'm sorry.
Now, the Habsburgs were a massively powerful royal house with territories across Central Europe, Southeastern Europe, and beyond from the 13th century until the Austro-Hungarian Empire fragmented in the wake of World War I.
AKA Amos, just Amos. I'm sorry, but I just didn't know they existed.
In order to secure land holdings and alliances, the Habsburgs, as well as many other royal families in that region at the time, married strategically. And by strategically, I mean, if you can't trust someone else to do it, you gotta do it yourself. Long story short, these ancestral lines were more incestuous than a YouTuber's working crew. Not like YouTubers are doing it with their family. I mean, YouTubers are doing it with their family. They're working together. YouTubers tend to work with their family and close relatives. That's what I'm saying here. All right, I'm just saying that everyone tends to work with their family members in this industry. And in the Habsburg line, they were working with their family in a different way. Anyway,
Alright, MacPat, just stop it. You are trying to explain something. You are digging a hole way too deep, you know.
the result, after a century or 6 of keeping it in the family, so to speak, let's just say the gene pool got a bit shallow, and the genetic disorder prognathism became pronounced. Now, obviously, just because you have a protruding lower jaw doesn't mean that you're the product of inbreeding. I don't want to say that in the slightest. Obviously, there are plenty of examples out there of people with an extended lower jaw that, you know, aren't their own grandfather. But when you look at the details around Count Chocula's character, the story starts to tell itself. Count Chocula's accent closely mimics Bela Lugosi's original portrayal of Dracula back in 1931.
I am Dracula.
My delicious super sweet cereal, Count Chocula.
Lugosi was born in Lugos, Austria-Hungary, which today is Lugoj, Romania. Lugoj has been within Transylvania's ever-changing borders at certain points in history, though today it lies in the Romanian historic region adjacent Transylvania. Because Lugosi used his natural dialect for the role of Dracula, this is strong evidence that Count Chocula hails from the same geographic region as Bela Lugosi, that is to say, near Transylvania, particularly the western edge of Transylvania, closer to the present-day Hungarian-Romanian border. As for Chocula's title of Count, this also ties him to that region. A Count is a title of nobility that generally ranks towards the middle of the royal hierarchy. Now,
another thing that I didn't know, I genuinely didn't know, more like in this century, in this day and age, in the year 2022, doesn't even more. Okay, everybody who's watching this video right now, comment down below if you even know this kind of hierarchy. Like in the year 2022, do you even recognize it? I'm from Singapore. I am not from. I don't know this thingy. At different time, different location, different circumstances, different situations. Let's see. Let's learn something. Okay. There's Knight, Lord, Baron, Viscount, Count, Marquis, Duke, Prince, King. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, there's 9. Okay, the more you know.
Not every European country has a title that's equivalent to Count, but both Romania and Hungary just so happen to be among the countries that do.
Coincidence.
Romania, the title is Count, and in Hungary, it's Vicomte. So to recap, the evidence suggests that Count Chocula is a noble who hails from a region with a rich tradition of royal inbreeding, and he happens to exhibit the genetic disorder prognathism, which is a side effect of long-term inbreeding. It's certainly strong circumstantial evidence, but I'd like something a bit more direct. After all, just because someone's a count doesn't necessarily mean that they have themselves a royal bloodline. A non-noble may have a title such as count conferred to them by a monarch long after their birth. So there's certainly a chance that Count Chocula was just a big-chinned commoner with no royal lineage or family history of incest, and he was just given the title of count for, I don't know, having the most delicious cereal on the block or something. What I'm looking for is evidence of actual royal lineage, and as a matter of fact, Count Chocula does drop a super handy tidbit about his bloodline in Count Chocula Goes to Hollywood, a record that came with monster cereal boxes back in 1979.
You must be kidding me, man. Seriously? Seriously, that is like more than 40 years ago, more than 40 years
To
ago.
lay the scene, Count Chocula here has just told Frankenberry that he's going to Hollywood to win a monster look-alike contest.
Why should you win, Count Chocula?
Because I look just like my great-great-uncle Drac from Transylvania.
So Count Chocula claims to be the great-grandnephew of Dracula, and that's incredibly useful information to us because we're basically trying to do the impossible, connect a fictitious character to a real-life dynasty. But Dracula, as it would happen, is one of those characters who blurs the line between reality and fiction a little bit. I suppose you could say he walks in both worlds. Allow me to explain.
But you must also remember that this is just a fictional character, so... Yep.
In 1897, the world was introduced to Dracula in Bram Stoker's gothic horror novel of the same name.
Yep, this is more than 1 century ago. Wait, that is... Okay, to be exact, that is 125 years ago. Wow.
Obviously, Count Dracula, an old-school vampire who was sucking blood long before vampires started to suck, is a fictional character. But the character is largely based upon a real-life Transylvanian-born royal from the 1400s, Vlad III Tepes.
Yes, that is more than half a millennium. Yeah.
AKA Vlad the Impaler, AKA Vlad Dracula. The thing is, Stoker didn't exactly fact-check his novel or anything. After all, he was just a guy trying to write some cool, creepy gothic fiction. It seems Stoker heard some stories about Vlad the Impaler being a generally bloodthirsty guy who impaled people, then used elements of those stories to help craft a vampire character who isn't exactly Vlad the Impaler, but also has enough overlap that it couldn't really be based on anyone else in history. How many other Transylvanian royals named Dracula out there have a thing for impaling, you know? So essentially what Count Chocula is saying is that in his universe, he's the great-grandnephew of Vlad the Impaler. And while Vlad the Impaler isn't himself a Habsburg, he did have himself the Habsburg jaw. I repeat, a relative of Count Chocula has himself prognathism. Now, of course, we need to make sure that the timeline checks out. Vlad the Impaler lived in the 1400s, and his supposed great-grandnephew, Count Chocula, is hitting up discos in the 20th century. Are we to believe that they're separated by 6 centuries and yet only 3 generations? Well, yeah, vampires are semi-immortal after all. Dracula is a vampire. Count Chocula is a vampire. Well, actually, is he a vampire? I mean, he obviously dresses the part, but let's look at the evidence. There's a number of vampiric rules laid out in Dracula that don't seem to apply to Count Chocula. He sleeps in a bed rather than a coffin. He's able to ingest human food, he casts a shadow, and yet he does possess some vampiric powers, such as the ability to levitate objects and turn into a bat? I think that's a bat. It's close enough. The point is this: Count Chocula possesses some vampiric traits, but not all, which is solid evidence that he's not quite a vampire, but rather a Dhampir. Now, what's that, you might ask? Well, get ready to learn about the bats and the bees, everyone. You see, when a vampire and a human love each other very, very much,
Okay, stop for a moment first. Just stop for a moment first. Let's be wholesome. Let's be family friendly. Kids are watching. Thank you so much for being so understanding and... yeah.
a Dhampir. According to legend, Dhampirs are able to do specific vampiric things like practice sorcery and control animals, but are also able to do certain human things like eat human food and sometimes cast shadows. And according to Mythology Wiki, quote, Dhampirs may be more mortal than vampires who are known to have a semblance of immortality, but they can still live for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And this makes so much sense because if you look at Count Chocula over the course of the past 50 years, it's very clear that his body is in fact changing. And I'm not just talking about his art style here, he's gotten a lot taller. In the 70s, his eyes were basically at Frankenberry's chin, but just a decade later, and suddenly they're practically eye to eye. And yet, after that 50 plus years of adulthood, he still doesn't look elderly. So what's clear is that Count Chocula is aging, but not at a human rate. See, if he were purely a vampire, he wouldn't have aged at all. If he were a human, he'd be looking like the red woman without her necklace. But instead, he's put on a good 16 inches over the past 5 decades as he finally hit some kind of slow-mo Dhampiric puberty. So he's a Dhampir in Dracula's lineage, but there's still a huge unanswered question lingering in the air. What's the deal with his name? Why is he called Count Chocula? This brings us to the final part of the theory. Consider this. Vlad II was known as Vlad Dracul. His son, Vlad the Impaler, was known as Dracula, meaning son of Dracul. So by this custom, it's quite possible that Count Chocula's ancestors were Chocul originally and was changed somewhere down the line. Oh, and by the way, Chocul just so happens to be a surname that's found most densely in, where else? Central Europe, including modern-day Hungary. So
The more you know, I guess, it's just coincidence, right?
if you're in Transylvania and want to run into somebody named Chocula, you don't really have to travel that far. So here's the theory, my friends, the food theory, as to why literally everything in Count Chocula's life is the way it is. His mother, a vampire, hailed from the Dracula line and was Vlad the Impaler's grandniece. Count Chocula's father, who had the surname Chocula, was a regular old mortal. The two lovebirds met somewhere in the vicinity of Transylvania at some point in the last 5 centuries or so. They gave birth to Alfred. Yeah, his first name is Alfred, had to throw that one in there. And Alfred, being the son of Chocula, took the customary step of taking Chocula as his name. From his mother's side, Alfred inherited the noble title of Count, his considerable wealth, as well as the protruding chin. From there, chocolate probably just kind of became Count Chocula's thing, the same way pretzels became the Wetzel family's thing. When you got a name like that, you just kind of have to roll with it, you know? So there you have it, friends, the most complete backstory of Count Chocula to date, with all the good, the bad, and the inbreeding included. And it's just in time too, because General Mills is reportedly developing an entire cinematic universe for its monster cereal IP.
What? I mean, seriously? 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 Seriously?
Wish that was a joke, but it's certainly not. And given what we've learned today, I think it could work. It has echoes of the connected Justice League universe, with Count Chocula as the Batman stand-in, quite literally this time at the center of it all.
I'm Batman. I'm vengeance.
The Batman character is made for some really great movies over the years, so I feel like inbred Batman would at least be halfway decent. Besides, it's not like General Mills has many other options. What are they gonna do? Put the fate of the franchise on the shoulders of this guy?
Fruity yummy, mummy, makes your tummy go yummy.
But hey, that's just a theory. A food theory. Bon appetit. Thanks for watching, theorists. If you enjoyed our deep dive into Count Chocula lore, definitely check out our episode on the Kool-Aid Man. Did you know that the Kool-Aid Man is part of the Marvel Universe? Oh,
MCU.
yeah, he is. Anyway, be sure you subscribe to the channel, or if you've already done that, drop a new and improved catchphrase for Fruity Yummy Mummy down in the comments.
And ring the notification bell as well. Thank you so much. Subscribe!
If General Mills is gonna thrust an entire monster cereal cinematic universe on us, they're definitely gonna need our help to make it suck just a little bit less. I'll see you all next week.
Thank you. Subscribe and ring the notification bell as well. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, and by the way, have you just noticed that MadPat just spent the entire episode on a fictional character? Anyways, thank you all so much for watching this video together with me. I hope you find this video very interesting and just fun to watch it. If you do like this video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and comment down below if you have anything to share with us down below. Don't forget to follow my channel, and sincerely appreciate all of the support and encouragement for my work. Thank you all so much, you're the best, and I hope to see you all in my next video. But hey, that's just a theory, a food theory. Bon appetit. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I hope to see you all in my next video. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Subscribe. Subscribe.